Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the participants from the Asian countries, a very warm greetings from Surabaya, Indonesia. Welcome to the 5th Communique webinar series, the Asian Higher Education Conference 2023, proudly organized by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, in collaboration with the Council of Rector of Indonesian State University, CRRSU, Universitas Padjadjaran, and today, act as the host is Universitas Airlangga. Indonesia will hold 10 Communique webinar series of the Asian Higher Education Conference 2023 with the general theme, Higher Educations, a Catalyst for Growth. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mustafira Yusuf. I am the Master of Ceremony for today's webinar. It is such a pleasure for me to meeting you virtually. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for a brief moment, we would like to invite you to rise and sing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. May all we rise. Indonesian anthem, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. You may be seated. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia has the honor of serving as the chair of this event for the 5th time. And today, we are going to open the 5th Communique webinar series that is hosted by Universitas Airlangga, Surabaya, Indonesia. The theme of our webinar today is Higher Educations and Industry Connectivity in Asian Energy Sector. And these sessions will be led by our moderators. Let me introduce him. He is one of our excellence lecturer in Universitas Airlangga, Faculty of Economic and Business. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Miguel Esquivias. Hello, Dr. Miguel, how are you today?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm great, thank you.
I've heard that the participants of today's webinar is reached 2,000 and something. How do you think about that?
Yes, we are expecting more than 2,500 participants from all the ASEAN countries, from Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Myanmar, Brunei, and all the other ASEAN countries.
Wow, excellent. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Miguel.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miguel Esquivias. I'm a lecturer at the Faculty of Economics and Business at Arlanga University. Today is an honor for me to be the moderator for this 5th webinar on higher education and industry connectivity in ASEAN energy sector. Today's webinar is part of Communique webinar series on ASEAN Higher Education Conference 2023. Today, we are delighted to have 5 honorable speakers from 4 different ASEAN countries who will be discussing on relevant topics on how to improve the curriculum, how to accelerate the energy transition towards clean energy, how to increase energy security, how to diversify supply chain, and how to bridge the skill gaps of the graduates in the energy sector. Each of the honorable speakers will have 15 minutes to deliver his topic. We will then proceed to the question and answer session, and at the end of the 5 presentations, we will appreciate all your comments, insights, and questions for our speakers. Please feel free to drop all your questions, your comments, insights in the chat box that is available in the Zoom platform. If you are joining us from the YouTube, please let us know where do you come from, what is your questions, and what do you want to ask to our panelists. Please indicate whenever you are addressing a question, what is your country of origin, your name, your institution, and who is the panelist that you would like to address your question. Now let's jump into our 5th webinar. Allow me to introduce our first distinguished speaker for today's webinar. Our first speaker is Honorable Datuk Seri Mohammed Khaled bin Nurdin. Currently, he is the Minister of Higher Education in Malaysia. He will be delivering the topic on government role in connecting academia and industry to support industry-relevant curricula. Allow me to briefly read the curriculum of his Honorable Minister of Higher Education. He graduated with honors from University Malaya. His working experience for more than 30 years in government and politics includes first as a minister, currently as a Minister of Higher Education in Malaysia. He is also the Vice President of the United Malaysia National Organization, a political party in Malaysia. In his more than 30 years of experience, he has been Chairman of Boswell Holdings Berhad, also State Assembly Member of Permas Johor. He has also been Chief Minister of Johor, Minister of Higher Education, Member of Parliament in Pasir Gudang, Johor, and Minister of Entrepreneur and Cooperatives. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's webinar. Without further ado, I will hand over the virtual podium to the Minister of Higher Education of Malaysia. Please, the stage is yours.
Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, respected educators and students from ASEAN member states and around the globe. Assalamualaikum and a warm welcome to all of you. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Republic of Indonesia, for the invitation and opportunity to speak today at ASEAN Higher Education Conference 2023, hosted by Padjadjaran University, Bandung, Indonesia. It is also my honor to congratulate Indonesia for serving as the ASEAN chairmanship this year for the 5th time under the theme ASEAN Matters Epicentrum of Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, navigating the future of work requires adaptability, continuous learning, and a proactive approach to embrace technological advancement. Future workforce has a profound impact on a country's growth. Investment in human capital development will create an enabling environment for the future workforce to thrive and drive sustainable growth. Around the globe, industries are constantly evolving. Hence, it is crucial to equip our younger generation with specific skill sets and expertise in providing skilled and competent workforce. We must admit that industry-relevant curricula will ensure that universities remain responsive to the needs of the job market and bridging the gap between academia and the practical requirement of the workplace. In Malaysia, our Education Blueprint 2015-2025 on higher education has highlighted the need to take collaboration between universities and the industry to the next level to lead curriculum design and delivery. Emphasis is placed in fostering industry collaboration for greater innovation. Based on our data, graduate employability rate in Malaysia for 2022 is at 90.2%, while Tibet graduate employability is at 92.5%. This indicates that Tibet graduates are highly demanded individuals in the workforce as they possess hands-on experience, technical expertise, and industry-relevant knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, no doubt, overcoming resistance in maneuvering our system and policy in realization of our strategy and implementation can be a hurdle. Our common challenges include, first, limited resources and funding, where academic institutions often have limited funding for research and may rely on external funding sources. Second, resistance to change and traditional structures, where traditional academic structures, tenure systems, and reward mechanisms may not always incentivize collaboration with industry. Thirdly, intellectual property concerns. Industry partners are often concerned about protecting their intellectual property, proprietary information, and trade secrets. This can create challenges in sharing data, research findings, or collaborating on projects. Fourthly, limited industry involvement in curriculum development. Academia may face challenges in keeping up with rapidly evolving industry needs, resulting in outdated or insufficiently relevant curricula. Lastly, varying levels of engagement and commitments. Some industry partners may be highly invested in collaboration, while others may have limited interest or time to dedicate to joint initiatives. Obviously, addressing all these challenges requires multifaceted approaches, proactive communication, building mutual trust, establishing clear expectations, and fostering a collaborative mindset. I must reiterate that the Government of Malaysia is committed to ensuring that all these challenges can be addressed not only effectively but strategically. Ladies and gentlemen, the government plays a crucial role in connecting industry and academia by creating an enabling environment and implementing policies that facilitate collaboration. Policies, frameworks, and initiatives should be in place to encourage partnerships and facilitate knowledge exchange through innovative clusters, research parks, and technology transfer offices. The national budget should allocate funding and grants specifically dedicated to industry academia collaborations in research and development projects, internship, training programs, and equipment. Grants, tax incentives, and other financial rewards should be made available to businesses who actively collaborate on initiatives with academic institutions. Furthermore, training programs should be created in targeting specific skill gaps and encourage lifelong learning by identifying priority areas and devising programs that are industry relevant. Establishing industry advisory boards comprising representatives from academia, industry, and relevant government bodies can be formed to provide guidance on policy formulation by industry recommends for strengthening industry academia interface. Most importantly, the government should streamline regulation and reduce bureaucratic barriers that hinder collaboration between industry and academia. Ladies and gentlemen, government will not be the society to take on these shared challenges, as it is pertinent to have collaborative work between academia and industry as well. Academia needs to engage in industry-focused research and development projects and establish professional networks to ensure industry practices are brought back to the classroom. They need to conduct needs assessment and focus groups to gather information to current and future needs by the industry. I believe that academia should establish mechanisms to regularly review and update the curriculum and keeping abreast of industry trends and technological advancement. Industry professionals can closely guide and mentor students, providing real-world perspective through mentoring programs. Industry needs to incorporate industry projects and internships to create opportunities for students to work on real-world projects and internships to gain practical skills while solving industry-specific challenges. Against this backdrop, I implore all ASEAN member states to encourage cross-border collaboration between academia and industry in creating a vibrant regional ecosystem of industry-academia connections. ASEAN University Network should foster and promote environment that supports industry-relevant curricula and the sharing of best practices among member universities. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysian Technical University Network, which comprises 4 technical universities, have collaborated with almost 200 major industries in the electrical, electronics, mechanical, and manufacturing, petrochemical, and public sectors. The ongoing numerous collaborations, namely with, among others, Cisco, Huawei, Keysight, Siemens, and Bosch Rexroth, include establishment of industry laboratories for the purpose of upskilling and reskilling, as well as to build attributes and competencies for students prior to graduation. The Government of Malaysia has introduced industry award policy, which intends to provide financial incentive to certain universities so that they can outfit their facilities with Industry 4.0 technologies. For instance, our collaboration with Huawei under the Seeds for the Future program since 2014 has provided the opportunity for students to go to China for training and mentoring in the field of information and communication technology. The initiatives I mentioned just now are some out of many initiatives that are currently being implemented in Malaysia's higher education institution. A deliberate effort is necessary to ensure that all plans and initiatives will have substantial influence on higher education, especially our students. Ladies and gentlemen, the world we are living in today is not the same as 40 years ago. Stale approach is no longer an option. Adopting a proactive and continuous learning approach is essential for higher education institutions. This is an era of collaborative engagement where resources and expertise are strategically shared. Therefore, I would like to call everyone to leverage various resources through an efficient network of connections between government, university, industry. I strongly believe with the triple helix collaboration, we could all embrace a growth mindset to thrive towards becoming an innovation-driven, technology-oriented, and value-guided country and region. I wish everyone a productive and fruitful conference. With that, I end my speech. Thank you.
We would like to say thank you to the Honorable Minister of Higher Education of Malaysia for his speech, his call for action, and his insights on how government, through policies, initiatives, frameworks, regulations, and support can facilitate that academia and industry can collaborate in creating a more relevant curricula. Now let's move to our next session with our second speaker on today's webinar. Our second speaker is Professor Dr. Muhammad Nasi, currently the rector of Airlangga University in Surabaya, Indonesia. He will be delivering the topic on higher education in connecting academia and industry in accelerating the energy transition. Allow me to briefly read the curriculum vitae of Professor Nasi. He is currently the rector of Airlangga University in Surabaya. He served previously as Vice Rector of Finance and also as Director of Finance at Universitas Airlangga. He holds a PhD in accounting by Universitas Airlangga. He holds a master's degree in technology and industrial management from Bandung Institute of Technology. He also has bachelor's in accounting by Airlangga University. Professor Nasi has made several distinguished achievements, including leading Universitas Airlangga to achieve top positions in international rankings. For example, in the QS World University Ranking, in QS Asia University Ranking, the World University Ranking, the Impact Ranking, in World Universities with Real Impact, and the UE Green Metric. We cordially invite Professor Nasi to kindly deliver his talk, and we would like to appreciate Professor Nasi for hosting this fifth webinar. The time and screen is yours now.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon, esteemed keynote speakers, participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be present here at the 2023 ASEAN Higher Education Conference, or AHEC, and also have the opportunity to share insight on the global knowledge of higher education. Today, I will specifically focus on the higher education role in connecting academia and industry in accelerating the energy transition. During this conference, I will delve into the importance of energy transition and highlight on how it can be achieved through strong partnership between academic institutions and industry sectors. It is crucial to emphasize the significance of a robust collaboration between universities and industry in this process. Ladies and gentlemen, before delving into the detail of our topic, I would like to provide an introduction to AHEC and its purpose. AHEC strives to create a global platform for the development and advancement of higher education, particularly in the ASEAN region. It serves as a venue where knowledge can be shared regarding the evolution of higher education, which will have a significant impact on solving global issues. Universitas Airlangga takes great pride in supporting the positive ASEAN agenda of the ASEAN Higher Education Conference 2023. This event is long overdue as it aims to highlight the remarkable contribution of higher education in fostering academia industry collaboration to address the world's challenges. In this context, academia can serve as the initial stepping stone for the industry in tackling the issues. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are aware, the population, including within the ASEAN region, continues to grow steadily. The 7 ASEAN Energy Outlook illustrated this trend, showing a direct correlation between population growth and energy consumption. Although there was a temporary decline in energy consumption in 2020 due to the global impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, we anticipate that energy consumption will resume its upward trajectory in the coming years. The energy problem we face is not attributed to consumption, but also encompasses environmental implications. For instance, fossil fuels still dominate the energy sources, while their negative impact is real. However, their negative environmental impact, such as pollution resulting from waste generated during fossil fuel energy production, is undeniable. Despite this concern, complete abandonment of fossil fuel is not currently feasible due to various factors, including the slow implementation of renewable energy technologies that have been researched extensively in recent years. As we see in this slide, these are only a few factors and reasons behind the energy crisis. And as I stated previously, our population, which caused overconsumption of energy, is the main factor along with other reasons. Several strategies or solutions have also been initiated, such as transition to renewable energy resources. One of them is consistent development from researchers together with a harmonious act from the industry. Academia, as a significant stakeholder, plays a pivotal role in finding pathways through scientific and technological advancement to address the global energy problem. The focus lies in knowledge development, encompasses tangible technologies that can be directly utilized by individuals, as well as policies and regulation that support the widespread adoption of renewable energy. Industry acts as the bridge between technological advancement and the need of society. It plays a pivotal role in determining how these technologies can be implemented and integrated into everyday life, ultimately shaping their consumption and impact on society. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, approximately 2/3 of research and development, or R&D, in science and technology studies is conducted in industry. Universities contribute around 20% of the R&D effort, while the government account for 10%. This statistic highlights the prominent role of the industry in driving technological advancement and innovation. To foster a strong collaboration between academia and industry, strategic planning for effective communication becomes essential. This includes various aspects such as knowledge transfer, sharing of information, engaging in creating activities, initiating open-ended technology initiatives, and embracing technology testing. Indeed, there are certain challenges that hinder the collaboration between academia and industry. One significant barrier lies in the negotiations surrounding intellectual right and contractual agreement, which can be complex and time-consuming. To address the issue, it's crucial to establish appropriate policies and regulation that govern the commitment and responsibilities of both academia and industry. Moreover, indicators between university and industry are also different. Universities often prioritize producing high-quality publication and citations as indicator of academia achievement. Industry tend to focus on short-term R&D outcome rather than long-term research. This disparity creates a substantial divide between academia and industry, which can impede the timely utilization of technologies by the general population. In addressing this issue, the government should intervene with policies or regulation that streamline the collaboration between academia and industry, allowing them to work together effectively despite their differing perspective. As a higher education institution, Universitas Airlangga aims to maximizing added value to all stakeholders, as well as creating significant impact at various levels that are manifested into 5 program terms acronymized as S, M, A, R, T. Each of these terms has keywords to guide the development and the implementation of the program at operational levels. Universitas Airlangga places great emphasis on nurturing high-quality graduates who possess the skill and capabilities to become problem solver, not only at regional level, but also on a global scale. This commitment is an integral part of our strategic approach, which we refer to as HEBAT, an acronym that represents the core qualities we instill in our students at Universitas Airlangga. It is our firm belief that such individuals will play a crucial role in finding innovative and sustainable solutions to the energy challenges we face, contributing to a better future for all. Universitas Airlangga has research priorities in the following research fields, namely blue economy, green economy, health, digital economy, tourism and conservation, food security, with the community engagement here as the expected outcome and impact. In achieving this outcome and impact, we have several approaches that involve the following sectors: education, health, environment, and community empowerment. One of which is Universitas Airlangga is committed to supporting energy transition and renewable energy. Universitas have implemented several programs to promote the utilization of green energy, including the following: actively support the Merdeka Belajar program in energy cooperation. Under the initiative, students are encouraged to collaborate with industry partners to develop and contribute to green energy technologies. We also established numerous research groups focused not only on developing green energy technologies and facilitating energy transition, but also on researching and formulating policies for green energy in Indonesia and globally. We offer an academic curriculum that is designed to support energy transition and renewable energy. Our academic programs are tailored to equip students with a necessary knowledge and skill in this field. Universitas Airlangga also conduct international community development aimed to enhancing the potential of green energy in Indonesia. Our efforts in this regard are showcased in the accompanying slide. We firmly believe in the importance of energy transition and are dedicated to contributing to the development and adoption of renewable energy solutions. In conclusion, the discussion have highlighted several key points. Firstly, energy is a fundamental human need that is decreasing exponentially, emphasizing the necessity of finding renewable energy sources. Secondly, collaboration between universities and industries is crucial in facilitating the energy transition. This collaboration enables the effective dissemination of technology and knowledge, bridging the gap between research and practical implementation. We need to accelerate the cooperation through hexa-helix dialogue involving academics, students, industry players, the community at large, NGOs, and governments. By implementing this conclusion, we will build broader, robust, more resilient ecosystem, and we can foster a sustainable future and address the global energy challenges we face today. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust that you have found our discussion to be engaging and informative. It has been a privilege to have an opportunity to participate in the 2023 ASEAN Higher Education Conference and share our ideas and reflection. I hope that the problem has provided valuable insight and meaningful interaction for all participants. I would like to express my gratitude for your time and attention throughout the conference. The active participation and cooperation by the participants who have gathered here today will be very meaningful, not only for Universitas Erlangga, but as well as for the global society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nasi, for sharing with us your insights. It's a privilege for us to have you as one of our speakers on this webinar. It's wonderful to hear from you all those initiatives that can help and encourage more collaboration between academia and industry, so we can push forward and faster that transition towards a clean and sustainable energy. Now we are moving towards our next participant, our next speaker. I would like to greet Datin Professor Dayan Haja Sohra Haji Sulaiman, who is joining us from Brunei. She is currently the Vice Chancellor, University of Technology, Brunei. She will be delivering the topic on academia and industry collaboration for energy security and diversified supply chain, the role of government, industry, and academia in enhancing quality assurance. Datin Professor allowed me to read a little bit of her curriculum. She holds a PhD in genetics from the University of Southampton in the UK. She is currently the Vice Chancellor at the University Technology Brunei and a Professor of Biology at the University Technology Brunei. Formerly the Deputy Vice Chancellor at University Brunei Darussalam or UBD, and Adjunct Professor at UBD. She is also Honorary Professor in the College of Science at Swansea University in the UK. She has leading role in bridging University Technology Brunei to reach top positions in university rankings, like the QS World University Ranking, the QS Asia University Ranking, QS Global University Ranking for universities under 50 years old, and the 5-Star Plus University. She has been awarded 5 state honorary medals. She is also an honorary fellow by the ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organization, among others. She has held various positions as chairman and board member in ASEAN Science Committees and also in Brunei Research Council. Her research interest includes biodiversity, aquaculture, molecular phylogeny, and biogeography of fishes. It is now my great pleasure to invite and join us in this stage Datin Professor Dr. Sohra.
Yeah, thank you, moderator, for the kind introduction. First of all, I would like to thank organizer, in particular the host, Universitas Erlangga, in collaboration with Universitas Padjadjaran, the CRISU, Asean, and the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Research and Technology of Indonesia for kindly giving me the opportunity to address the audience today. I will also share my slide, if I can share my first slide.
Great.
Yes, the title of my talk is quite long. Academic and Industry Connectivity in Collaborating for Energy Security and Diversified Supply Chains, the Role of Government, Industry and Academia in ASEAN Energy Sector. So first of all, I would like to introduce the background of University Technology Brunei, where we come from with regards to collaboration with industry, government, as well as academia. Our vision is, our strategic vision is actually a global university impacting society, and we have 4 strategic focus area which involve quadruple helix engagement, which actually has strategic objective on enhanced knowledge and technology transfer through quadruple helix engagement. And the other strategic objective is to promote synergy between UTB and stakeholders. And of course, we can achieve this through our collaboration with industry, our strengthening of partnership, strategic partnership, be it in the national and international arena. And also we can promote innovative and impactful knowledge transfer and business engagement. And lastly, to cultivate and strengthen relationship with stakeholders for professional development opportunities and marketability of the industries. So these are all our strategic focus area under quadruple helix engagement. That's our background. So we also align ourselves with strategic development goal, which has been mentioned by other speakers over and over again. And of course, our relevance will be in strategic development goal number 7 on the clean energy, affordable and clean energy. And also, it is also relevant to strategic sustainable development goal number 13 on climate action. Next one, please. So I will just mention about University Technology Brunei engagement with industries and the government. The government that we are engaged in is our Department of Energy of the Prime Minister's Office. And then our industry is Brunei Shell Petroleum, because as we understand, Brunei is an oil and gas producing nation, and therefore it is very much part of our industry engagement for UTB. And the other one is the global Shell, which is Shell Deepwater Borneo. And of course, another industry which is very much important to the nation is Hengi, although we do not collaborate with them, but other institutions of higher learning does collaborate with Hengi. Next one. So for Department of Energy is a very the role only involve largely on research. And this can be, as we can see here, that it can be through Protokon Utama Sdn Bhd, which is a Malaysian oil and gas industry. Is there something wrong with the slides? Is there something wrong with the slide? Okay, yes, we are back. So, and also the other one is through our International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, through SHINA, which stands for Safety, Health and Environment National Authority, which is under Department of Energy, Prime Minister's Office. And the other one is also research on food irradiation. So it's just a minor role from the Department of Energy in which they support our research. Next one. And as I mentioned, Brunei Shell Petroleum Sdn Bhd is the major stakeholder, the main industry which collaborate with us. And they have sponsored, for example, our chair professor in petroleum engineering from 2016 to 2023, and also on research in the numerical sense screen modeling, which was lasted for from 2020 to 2023. And the outcome for this research is to make UTB Center of Excellence a reference point where other industry can actually send their sample to us and to look for, whether we can solve problem on the sand content in the oil. And the other one is through scholarships, which we get about 35 scholarship, which is either especially in the engineering program, where we actually run in the Faculty of Engineering. So the scholarship is from BSP and also Brunei Joint Venture Scholarship. So what I'm trying to say here is that not only that we are providing some sort of graduates for the Brunei Shell Petroleum, we are as well as doing research to help Brunei to diversify its economy or supply chain through production, to increase production of oil, because the problem with oil production in Brunei is always the sand content in the raw oil. So there is a need for our nation to actually try to filter the sand, and hence the research is done in the sand screen modeling. But Alhamdulillah, we have a good outcome. The results has been good so far, and the scope has been expanded to include other area as well. Next one. So as I mentioned, that our relationship with Brunei Shell Petroleum was since 2010 with the sponsorship for petroleum engineering. And we are very pleased to inform that we have been ranked 150 in the world for 2 consecutive years. And they also help us, the energy sector, the industry, especially from Brunei Shell, has also been providing lecture series to our staff and students. But just to inform that in 2023, we no longer offer petroleum engineering. Instead, we will be offering energy engineering. And of course, as I mentioned before, this is to align ourselves with all these SDG, clean energy, climate action, and so forth. And therefore, we are introducing a climate-friendly program that is in the form of energy engineering. Not to say that we actually get rid of all the petroleum. It's still there. It's just that we rebranded to use the name energy engineering. Next one. And the other industry, the global Shell, the Shell Deepwater Borneo, they are, and BSP together, they have been donating a lab to us, that is the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Lab. And of course, this one the aim is actually to provide with AI machinery, such as AI developer, powerful laptops, AI edge computing, augmented and virtual reality devices. So this is something that will be in our UTB campus. And again, this lab will be the gift to the nation from Shell Deepwater Borneo and BSP. Next one. So the other one is students which actually from other universities this is not University Technology Brunei, in which HENGI is very much their stakeholders. So one is University Brunei Darussalam on the scholarship for the chemical and process engineering, and in which they spend their time in University Brunei Darussalam as well as Zhejiang University. And after they finish, they will be offered employment at HENGI Industrial Student Berhad. And then the other one is Institute of Brunei Technical Education, IBTE, in which they have a relationship with Lanzhou Petrochemical University, or Vocational Technology, LPUVT. And lastly, Polytechnic Brunei. And again, they are in collaboration with HENGI. They offered level 5 program in control and automation, in engineering, laboratory technology, refinery operator, chemical equipment, and so forth. So this is just to show that HENGI has also collaborated with other universities or Institute of Higher Learning in Brunei Darussalam. Next one. So I think that is only my my slide. I do not have a long slide. I hope that is enough information. Thank you very much, moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much, Datin Professor, for your presentation. Thank you for sharing those specific projects in which your university and also Brunei is engaging in collaboration with the industry sector. We will actually have a question and answer session. If you can still join us for that session, it will be at the end of the 5th speaker. Thank you for joining us all the way from Brunei. We encourage all the participants to engage, to place your questions in the chat box. And for those joining us from the YouTube channel, please also let us know where do you come from, what are your questions and insights for the webinar speakers. Now let's extend our welcome to our next speaker, who will expand into another fascinating aspect of our discussion. He is Professor Dr. Muhammad Ashari. He is currently the Rector of Institute Teknologi 10 November ITS in Surabaya, Indonesia. Formerly, he was the Rector of Telkom University in Bandung. He is Professor in ITS in the field of power, electronics, and renewable energy applications. He holds a PhD degree and a master's degree by Curtin University in Australia and a bachelor's of electrical engineering in ITS in Indonesia. He has been awarded by the Australia Consul General in Surabaya the Innovation Awards Curtin University Alumni Achievement. He also chosen as the best university leader by Obsession Media Group, and he was recognized by the Ministry of Research and Technology of Indonesia as one of the top 500 researchers in the country. His research interest covers infrastructure of electricity, mobile telecommunications, Internet of Things, and other aspects of networks for human resource development in rural and remote areas. Without further ado, I will hand over the virtual stage to our esteemed speaker, Professor Ashari. The screen and the microphone are now yours.
Hello, welcome to Asean Higher Education Conference 2023. So I would like to present, especially in the energy sectors. The topic of my presentation is Triple Helix Collaborations of Research and Innovation, Preparing Indonesia Net Zero Emission 2060. This will be our topic. We would like to introduce the ITS first, my institution, and then we talk about the global issues for policy enablers. The third one, talking about Indonesia Net Zero Emission 2060, then Triple Helix Collaboration, and then conclude by the resume of this presentation. It's only 15 minutes. My name is Muhammad Ashari, Professor Muhammad Ashari, Professor in Electrical Engineering, especially in renewable energy. Currently, I am the Rector or a President of Institute Teknologi 10 November, or 10 November Institute of Technology. This is a public university located in Surabaya, Indonesia. At the moment, Our student body is 26,000 with 1,780 international students. And we have faculty members around 1,200 and non-faculty members is 1,000. Currently, there are 8 faculties in ITS that are morely in engineering side, and 1 School of Interdisciplinary Study. ITS or Institute Teknologi 10 November, we have 10 research center that all these research center divergent to technology industrial revolution 4.0. And the next side is we have a study center. This is working for a community or people. And after research center, we also have innovation center, or we call it Science Techno Park. There are 4 big cluster of STP. The first one is maritime. We can see we have designed from small ship until boats, the big one. We also have a second cluster, call it ICT robotic. That is one of our product, robot for hospital. Then the other one, we have a of automotive, and also cluster of industry, creative industry. Now, regarding the topic of energy, there are 3 global issues enable toward policy. The first one is COVID-19. By this pandemic, then we know about physical distancing. The second is climate change. Now, every country has programmed this climate change. Very popular policy or is renewable energy and zero emission. This kind of policy is because of the climate change. And the third global issue is technology change that are mostly the connectivity. Connectivity means connectivity among people or social media. Connectivity network like 2G, telecommunication, 3G, 4G, 5G, etc. This is the connectivity issues. So regarding again the Indonesia net zero emission, currently this data at 2021, the energy emission or CO2 emission production in Indonesia reached 600 million tons of CO2. This is increased sharply for the last 20 years. One here, this is how the government of Indonesia try to reduce the emission of CO2 per sector. We can see in that year, 2022, the emission, the big emission produced by electricity. The second biggest one is by transportation. The other one is industry and building. But we can see starting from 2030, the production of emission is sharp and in the balance nature condition at 2006. So there are 2 biggest contributions in emission that one is electricity or energy, the second one is transportation. Here, the features of energy or electricity generation, we can see 2021 to 2022, the electricity generated in Indonesia 60% by coal. So 6% of electricity generated by coal in Indonesia. And we can see 2006, no more coal for power electricity in Indonesia, but you can see the energy and wind become the contribution in electricity generation in Indonesia. Now, this is the collaboration scheme for industry and university. After we know two contribution producing emission is energy and transport. So collaboration scheme here, we call it matching or direka in bahasa Indonesia. This is a scheme that initially university started a research. This research could be a communication or in connection with industry. And then later, this research is moved to prototype and then put it in innovation where we put the standard there, still with industry, and a funding may come the industry. And then the next step, the government, because we have clearly here, the government of Indonesia, the Minister of Education, put additional funding for the of research. We call it matching fund. So the funding for the research and innovation and adding by government at the same time. That's why it's by matching fund. And then later, research and innovation push until commercialization. It will be manufactured and some or industry as the off-take. For us here, the scheme of matching fund in ITS, in Technology 10 November, we already designed and built an electric trail. This electric motor is designed specially for rural hill in Papua. That's quite a very difficult location. That's why in location a rarely available fuel if we use motorcycle conventional. So by designing and build this electric trail for special hill in Papua, and also we install the charging station powered by PV, then this electric trail can be used for economic condition, economic purposes for the people in that location. So here, the off-taker is the Minister of Social. They buy all the product and then distribute it to Papua for the people. And the second another example is electric bus. This is a consortium consisting of 4 universities, ITS, Airlangga University, UGM Yogyakarta, and Institut Seni Denpasar. And we designed and built this electric bus in collaboration with PT Kereta Api. This is a manufacturer of train located in East Java. So we built this bus and then we used for G20 conference in Bali after this event finished, then these bus were handed over by the authority of public bus transport, and then it was distributed and operated in several cities in Indonesia. So we can see this scheme is very good scheme and complete from the beginning until the end of the process. So the government put the funding for this scheme, and then another industry hand over and take all this product for their business. So this is a complete scheme, very good, excellent. The other example of ITS innovation product in renewable and energy efficiency is here. The first, this show a virtual power plant control developed by ITS together with Authority of Electricity Indonesia, PLN. We work together to build this kind of control system for adjusting the power from renewable energy coming to the grid system, and that's already implemented. And then the other one is with industry, we develop a special LED light for fishery and also for agriculture. And the other one is also robotic and line production together with industry and already been used by the industry as well. This is the other kind of innovation product of ITS. ITS University, we also successfully developed customized PC tablet. We produce more than 5,000 units, and then the off-taker is the Minister of Education and Culture that use this kind of a PC distributed to rural area in all Indonesia. And the other one is autonomous car that we use it for internally in the campus, ROV, underwater vehicle, etc. Including in the top and the bottom of right-hand side, we saw ITS already developed a robot. We call it Raya robot. This robot is for assistance in hospital. We developed during the pandemic, and now already produced more than 60 or 70 units and distributed to hospital in all Indonesia location. Conclusion, excellent scheme of triple helix collaboration was successfully initiated by the Minister of Education and Culture, Republik Indonesia, and this scheme, namely matching fund, was implemented in hundreds of universities and industries in Indonesia. And ITS, Institute of Technology 10 November, is one of the university receiving the largest amount of matching fund, has successfully advantaged research and innovation, and also turning into manufacture commercialization. So this products of ITS was already been used by industry and people. So thank you very much for your attention.
Professor Azhari, Rector of Institute Technology 10 November, Surabaya, thank you for the insights. It's wonderful to hear all these practical and ongoing projects, from driverless vehicles, tablets, motorbikes, buses, underwater cars, robots, projects for the energy sector, industry, and many other things. So we are not talking about potential, but real projects going on. Thank you for sharing with us. Now we are moving towards our last speaker And this also is a reminder for all the participants to please send us your questions, your comments, and your insights for the speakers. Now, let us extend a warm welcome to our next speaker, who will expand on another fascinating aspect. We already have a government participant representative, 3 university representatives. Now we have from the industry a veteran. He's Mr. Henry So Tun. He has been in the industry for more than 30 years in oil, gas, and power industry. Hi, Mr. Henry. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Great. So Mr. Henry is joining us from Myanmar. Thanks for being here with us. There are more than 1,000 participants now in the Zoom platform and many others in the YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so allow me before going into
Thank you very much.
Great. It's good to hear you. Okay, so allow me before jumping into your presentation to briefly give some highlights on your 30 years of experience in the sector. So Mr. Henry Solu, he's the Director Business Development of Max Power Asia Group. He is also the CEO of Consolidated Engineering and Construction, and he is also an oil and gas and power industry veteran with more than 30 years working in the sector, with experience in Myanmar and also in experience in many other ASEAN countries. Max Power Asia Group is spread across ASEAN with assets in Indonesia, in Thailand, and in Myanmar. Mr. Henry has been a key player for the successful development of the 50 megawatt gas-fired power plant in Saketa Township in Yangon, Myanmar. This plant is one of those very few foreign direct investment projects in Myanmar during those early years of democracy. Mr. Henry So Tun, thank you very much for joining us. I would like to invite you to present your topic with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mingo, and thank you very much for the previous distinguished speakers, His Excellency Ministers of Education, Dr. Sri Mohammed Khalid, and also Professor Mohammed Nasir from University Erlangga, and the Professor Ryan from University of Technology Brunei, and Professor Dr. Asari from is a director from Institute of Technology Sipula Dopiendo. I was one of the one and only guy from industry, apart from many of those academic professors. So first of all, my advanced apology that in case of my language is not polite enough for those the professors and ministers, then I just do apology. Let me go through with that before talking about the collaborations and the skill gaps between academia and industry. Let's take a look at the Myanmar situation. The first slides, I just show it that it is the industries of oil and gas, LNG vessel, and there's the building, which is the school, we call it the Technology University of Yangon, which of this, the energy sectors are professionals. So let's take a look at the Myanmar sector's background. Myanmar is well known and now with the domestic energy resources, particularly for the gas, both offshore and onshore, and then a very high potential of hydroelectricity potential. We look at the chart at the left side of this. So it seems that a lot of the oil and gas, what they call offshore, onshore in the virgin, need to be awaited for exploration from international investors. Then the quality of historical data in Myanmar is lacking, and the limited resources for data gathering and data analysis. and the data being manipulated for internal and external consumption. That's the pictures. And energy planning relies heavily on quality of historical data as a guide to the future. Let's take a glimpse at the table below, which shows that a little bit of weird from just make it simple 2020 to up to date now, and next 6-7 years 2030. For the natural gas production, we are looking at 1,850 at now dropped to 1,470. Then in the future, 2030, we are looking at a negative 751, 351. Why? Because of it will subject to another block before 400 million cubic feet by 2026, which is unlikely. And look at the power generation. 2020, we have 3,800 megawatts, but 2023 now, we have dropped to 2,100 megawatts. Then we're still targeting about 15,000, which is talking about 100% certification rate is in a conservative manner. But that also can be achieved if we do is subject to annual plant capacity to be produced 1,600 megawatts per annum consistently without failure. Then it is still that 80,000 million metric tons per month, but today it's become zero. It is maybe we could go to the previous slide, please. Slide is a bit up there. Hello. Yeah, can you move to previous slides? No, the first one, the earlier one. No, next one. The earlier, yes, correct, yes. No. The third slide. Sorry, second slide. With the map. Yeah, yes, thank you very much. Yeah, so we have stops LNG import in 2021, and we talk about national electrification rate is dropped from 50% to 31%. We're still looking at the 100% electrification rate by 2030. So in Myanmar, the household are only connected. 50% of households are only connected to the national grids. That also drop now. Then power availability, we have only 50%, but now again dropped to 35%. And we have a power outage, 8 hours per day at the 3 main cities, and 12 to 20 hours power outage the rest of the cities and rural area. So it is very kind of weird situation and negative. So yeah, that is the current situations of Myanmar. Somebody might look at it, Henry, numbers are weird, but it is true. Can you go to the next slide? Next slide, yeah. Yes. So just glimpse of that the universities in Myanmar and the research center and the energy industry configuration. You look at it just now. I was very much wonderful that Professor Dr. Dayan from University Technology of Brunei mentioned that they have worked together with Brunei shells and industries and academias are very much collaboration, and Professor Mohammed also talking about academia and industrial collaboration. In our case, it's a bit of challenging there. You look at Yangon University, we have only one research center, but if you look at carefully, there is no research program for energy sectors. Then you look at on the right side of the table, which the Yangon Technology University, which producing many of the engineering graduates for the energy sectors. But sadly, there's no research center at all. So that is the big challenges what we are talking about. And then we have an institutional framework for Myanmar energy sectors. If you look at petroleum geothermal, that will be handled by Ministry of Electricity and Energy, which now two together. Then for the coal sectors, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation. Then energy efficiency and conservation, that will be handled by Ministry of Industries. Then renewable energy, solar, wind, mini hydro, biomass, and so on. We have a different, but the looks good is that the leader is Ministry of Education, with many of the institutions, universities. Then followed by Ministry of Agriculture and Industries, and then Myanmar Engineering System. The last, civilian nuclear energy, which is handled by Ministry of Science and Technology. So for the look at from the documentation perspective, we are looking at it, it's already in kind of collaboration between academia and industry. But practically, this is only on the paper itself. In the real sectors, that most of the energy projects are handled by respective ministry, but the only initial introduction carried out from the universities. Some of the professors are invited, but after that, they have been forgotten. There's a set situations that it is entirely different from what the two distinguished, few distinguished speakers has mentioned. That this is the truth of Myanmar. Can you go to the next? Yeah, I just tried to borrow the slides from Dr. Stephen Hubble from University of Oxford. I got permission to use his slides. We are looking at the valley of death in his slides. I like it. In the UK universities, there are public funding and private investments in a very high participation there, with academic research, very strong academic research. But on the other hand, that industry application, which is private, fully funded, and investments. So, but there's a gap, that knowledge transfer and collaboration between academia and industries. That was lacking, that highlighted by Dr. Stephen. But in Myanmar case, yes, we have a very challenging situation. As mentioned on previous slides, we do not have the sufficient public funding and zero private investments on the academic research, just teaching there. Just going back a little bit for the past, since 1993 onward up to 2011 or 2013, Myanmar universities are huge setback due to international isolations of political situations, and many of the universities students are hardly getting the teaching materials. They are lacking of the textbooks and reference books, and they got to do on their own for photocopying of those. And just example of one of the universities teaching the information system and then for the network engineering, lack of computers and then network infrastructures. The students are using only on the paper to draw networks to learn the skills, network engineer. They can on their own with the private schools to hands-on learning of computers and network itself. It's extremely very high for them. So we are a bit different from those the speakers mentioned and the Dr. Stephen mentioned about public fundings and research achievement. I'm very much wonderful, and I also wish to do that in our country. That should be the one, but we are a bit of so much of a different situation. Next slide, please. Yeah, we look at it gap in energy sectors. We are talking about energy balance, energy mix, supply, demand, securities, trending, data collection, processing, analysis, and data security, and cost assumption, LERC, financing cost, economic cost, drilling techniques. So many things that we need to learn in the industries. And also, we have a problem of demand and supply, the big gap, right? The demand is 15 times higher than the supply. The industrial economic growth are not even considered for the targeting of 15,000 megawatt in 2030. Then we have the situation of a base load. It is unstable because of higher demand. Then the grid is very weak, no redundancy. One line down, the whole country blackout. Power distributions, grid is extremely fragile, no ring circuits. The grid automation, don't talk about it, right? Until next 10 years. So, but the academia, our professors and universities are looking at international trends, calling for renewable energy, solar, wind, hydrogen power, and even nuclear power. But in the practical situation of industry, the huge challenges to fulfill that, even though the base loads and oil and gas sectors, we do not have it local fundings and local players to do it, only waiting for the foreign investors to do it. And then we talk about nuclear. Yes, the country is looking at seriously collaborating with Russia, but practically it is out of scopes. They have no financing, no safety, no systematic training, no proper design. How are we going to talk about it? So we have the situations of academia, industry, and the government directions. Three different dimensions are going there. This is the weird situations at what we are facing there. Can you go to the next slide, please? So, in our conclusion, I would wish that our government to do it, allow independent private education system to be set up. The doors are open for the international large university, like just now we are talking about Dr. Dayan universities in Brunei, collaboration with Shell. That kind of university with R&D facility should be is our kind of wish list. Then we should also have a financial institutions. We need to have an international financial institution to be established for the private sector's development as well as education center. And then we need to get regulatory framework. We need to get laws to be enacted or amended, and then to facilitate the independent universities with R&D center to be established. At the moment, the law prohibited it. Then we are talking about forced collaboration. That's why I mentioned that just now the previous distinguished speakers have talked very much impressive, using the words collaborations with suggestions. We are talking about forced collaboration. We need to do forced joint feasibility studies for almost all projects between academia and industrial player, but also that some of the governments to be realized that what is need to be done. So yeah, we are a bit far away from reality, but far away from the dream, but this is reality. So my suggestion to the professors, rectors, and ministers that come to Myanmar, try to get investments on education centers, and bring along with your R&D, research and development center, and also bring along your financial institution to be set up here. We have a high potential of growth here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry, for your wonderful insights. You have made a very nice wrapping, not only of your presentation, but the entire webinar, because you have been talking about how education institutions, how government regulatory, how financial institutions, and the force, the task force, to bring all these things into reality are needed. So thank you for sharing that. We also get many insights on how to fill those gaps of skills. From that process, from development all the ways to a successful project, we can imagine all the skills which are needed in the process. So thank you for your presentation. Let's jump into our last part of this webinar. We are going to bring some of the questions that were posted by the webinar participants. We have 3 questions. One of them is from an Indonesian who is currently based in Thailand. It's also an example of student mobility. Another one from another Indonesian, and one from Malaysia. Okay, so let's go into our first question. Okay, if you can, I would like to invite Mr. Henry and also Dating Professor to join us for this question and answer session. Okay, so our first question for today comes from Vero. Vero comes from Indonesia, and she is studying now in Thailand. So the question for Mr. Henry and for Professor Diane Hassa is, how effectively is higher education in ASEAN preparing students for evolving demands of modern job market and fostering innovation and entrepreneurship in the region? Okay, perhaps if that team professor is with us, I would like to invite you to address this first question.
Thank you. Moderator. I think I can speak on behalf of University Technology Brunei on how we actually help students to prepare for the job market is through our curriculum, how we shape our student to be job ready. And in order to do so, we have to be in constant engagement with stakeholders, especially the job market people, people who will provide jobs for our graduates. So there is a constant conversation with industry in order to understand what kind of skill set they require in industry. Likewise for the government as well, we need to know what are the demands, what are the current demands in the job market. Entrepreneurship, likewise, we will love to have our students to be skilled at entrepreneurship, and we include that in our curriculum as well, in the hope that when they come out from our university, they are ready, they are entrepreneurial, not necessarily owning business, but actually having some knowledge on how to actually survive to have a life skill in the 21st century. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for the question. It's a very good question.
Thank you, Professor, for your answer. Okay, so now let's try to take some feedback, from the industry perspective. Mr. Henry, perhaps you would like to address this question or provide some insights?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Miguel, and also Vero for very good questions. My advice to you as the graduates looking for the job market, first of all, I would suggest that you should go as many as webinar presented by industrial players, that at least that you can able to learn either webinar or physical conference there. You just go and attend it there and talking to those people, and after their presentations of what's going on, what I needed there, at least you are physically in understanding of what industry needs. Then that individually what the government sectors are talking about, what industrial players are talking about, then you know that you position yourself, that what to learn, what to achieve, what they are needing there, then you can, some of the skill you need to learn on your own from the internet and another webinars or skill providers that you can able to do it. So at least that you need to understand about what the markets are looking at it, then you make your step to be prepared to that job market itself. That's my advice. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Henry, for your feedback. Yes, actually, it's very interesting to see how in today's webinar, we are getting the insight from 4 different countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, and Myanmar, how they are facing different issues in the energy sector. Okay, let's jump into our second question. This comes from Franz Sinaga from Jakarta, Indonesia, to Professor Dr. Dayan Hassal Sohra. What do you think Brunei Darussalam government collaborate with university and companies are to secure each energy in 20 to 50 years ahead, while renewable energy becomes one of the SDGs issues that will be solved? Okay, I hope you get more or less what is the question being raised here.
Yeah, thank you again. Again, very interesting question and very difficult to answer. We need to strike a balance between us producing energy for the economy and growth of the country. We need to have it. But at the same time, we have to be mindful of climate action, SDGs. We are also, believe or being part of this SDG as well. So we must strike a balance. And, and energy, oil and gas production in Brunei Darussalam will not be it will not be sustainable over a long period of time. Therefore, Brunei Darussalam has to find ways in which they can actually benefit from the downstream technology, for example, or upstream technology. And that is already happening now with Hengi presence in Brunei Darussalam. So in order to secure energy, not necessarily energy as in oil and gas, we also expand now the scope to actually look at the downstream production or downstream technology. So again, with SDG, we need to strike a balance. We have to be mindful. That's why, as you can see just now, we also rebrand our program, the petroleum engineering program, to actually to convert or not to to rebrand it into energy engineering so that it looks climate friendly, and we are also very mindful of our SDG, of our sustainable development goal in clean energy and so forth. I hope I answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dating Professor. Okay, this is very encouraging considering that Dating Professor, she is also very much involved into the marine life, so she's very much aware into the challenges and the problems with the environment, etc.
Yes.
Hearing these things from you is encouraging, which means to strike a balance between the SDGs focus and sustainability and the other extreme. Thanks for your feedback. Okay, perhaps we are jumping to our third question. This question comes from Sahra from Malaysia. I would like to ask Mr. Henry how to develop environmentally friendly technology or green technology nowadays. Okay, perhaps I will allow Mr. Henry to directly address this question.
Yes, thank you very much, which is very much a popular subject of the green technology and environmental. The first of all, to utilize the green technology or environmental friendly technology, the country needs to have at least sufficient base load and excess capacity. Without that, we can't do it. For example, in Myanmar, a lot of people are talking about solar, renewable energy, solar, wind, and whatever, but we don't even have the base load to make everybody stable power. So, for example, in Singapore needed about 6,500 megawatts, but the Singapore has produced 13,000 megawatts of power grid. So almost a double of the demand it is supplied with. So very stable. Something goes wrong with one, two, or three of the power plant fall. It's okay. So that's why they can able to use the renewable solar wind. Similar to that, UK or Norway, the supply is much higher, in 1.5 to 2 times of the power you can able to use it, but not all. So up to certain level of the supply, otherwise you can't able to utilize it. Always has to be energy mix until that certain technology in advance for next couple of years. That's my advice. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your answer. Perhaps we will allow, okay, so we got some more questions, but actually we are running out of time. We appreciate very much the time of all the, of course, for all the speakers who generously share with us your experience, your expertise, and all your projects going on for the last years. Thank you for sharing with us, for bringing us new insights from your countries. Thank you also for all the webinar participants who actively engage in the webinar by sharing their questions, their talks, and also by joining us during this 5th webinar. As we are reaching the end of this webinar, I would like to say thank you for the organizers for inviting me to be the moderator for today's session. I would like to thank Universitas Erlangga for the invitation. And without further ado, I will hand back the microphone to the MC. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thanks for joining us.
Very well. Once again, big round of applause virtually to all of the speakers and participants and all of the organizing committee. Thank you so much. So after moderate and lead the sessions, what do you think about all of the sessions?
Well, I have to say that I am going out with a very different frame of mind. I'm going very encouraged with all the examples of new technologies, examples of collaboration, which are going around in the ASEAN countries. So I feel that the ASEAN is going towards a good direction in the energy transition.
Very well. Great job to Dr. Miguel for wonderful sessions and also fruitful discussions. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are so delighted to witness such tremendous enthusiasm during the webinar. Unfortunately, we finally reached our end of our sessions today. However, we would like to remind all of participants that the next webinar series of 2023 Asian Higher Education Conference will be held on Wednesday, which is next week, 12th of July 2023, and as the host will be the Institut Teknologi Bandung. Last but not least, on behalf of the organizing committee, Universitas Erlangga, we would like to appreciate our esteemed speakers and each one of participants who have attended the webinar until the very end of the sessions. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. I am Mustafira Yusuf signing out. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.